Hello, everybody. This is Arik Skuza, and welcome in the Artificial Intelligence and Product Strategy podcast. Today, I would like to discuss very fascinating thing like transforming business models with data analytics. First of all, let me quickly go over what is data analytics. Data analytics basically consists of four elements: gathering data, improving data, experimenting with data, and then predicting with data. So data analytics can be translated to four steps. And today I would like to answer a question how those steps can transform business models. Before we dive into this topic, I would like to go over the business model definition. Business model is a value proposition driver that is, I can say that, responsible for bringing that value proposition to the market. But what are the elements of business model? First element of the business model is value proposition itself, which defines what is the value that customers get from the specific offering. The second element of the business model is costs and revenue sources. So that's pretty straightforward what those are. The next element are partners that making that business model working. For instance, Apple needs to partner with screen manufacturers to bring screens to iPhone, or Airbnb needs to partner with hosts to bring that places for renting to their website. And the second factor are behavioral elements, like, for instance, people commuting to work every morning at 9 a.m. And that's customers, which are an integral part of every business model. Another factor is channels, like how we actually reach to those customers. We can reach to them through mobile apps. We could reach to them through face-to-face marketing. We can reach to them through TV commercials or internet commercials. We can reach to them over emailing and things like this. And another element of the business model is resources of the company needs to drive that value. So, for instance, a company like Uber or the company like Coca-Cola needs to have different resources to bring the value proposition to the market. So the question is how data analytics and actually it's helping to transform those business models. Well, it's very interesting and pretty straightforward. Data analytics has profound impact on how business models operate. It has allowed them to better understand their customers and optimize their products or services accordingly. In one of my previous podcasts, I was explaining how data analytics can understand behavior. For instance, there is an app called FishBrain that is very popular among anglers and people that like to go relax and fish. And that app can actually understand millions of data points that are reflecting the behavior of other anglers. So, for instance, imagine you got a lake, and that lake is visited by 3,000 anglers per year, and this 3,000 anglers upload, like, let's say, 10 million of data records per year. And if that data will give you an insight about how and when you should go fish, that actually influence the customer behavior. And from here, we have a very straightforward road to actually monetizing that data. If you know when people go there, you can either send their mobile shop that will provide them with the specific lures and artificial baits. You can also help people to buy natural baits by sending them to the nearest store and giving them a localized ad. And the other thing would be if the weather will change, you can actually suggest taking a food with you or taking hot beverages. And that's another convenient thing that every angler would appreciate, because if the weather changed for an hour, you can actually get back to your car or stand somewhere with your boat and wait until the next weather window will be available for you. And how that's transformed the business model? Very easily, because FishBrain can actually send you to the nearest store to buy that lures and monetize that indoor traffic by signing a contract with the nearest angler store and bring that contract to actually monetizing stage. So this is one example of how data analytics can change the business model. Data analytics can also be used to improve operational efficiency. By analyzing data from various sources, businesses can identify areas of waste or inefficiency which can then be addressed with process improvements or changes in strategy. I mentioned before that business model consists of one of the factors, which are resources and costs. Imagine now this, that Amazon will never send two trucks in the same neighborhood, because even if those trucks are delivering different packages, it's better for Amazon to put that package on one truck. Why? Because it costs less to send one truck to the neighborhood, and that influences a cost element of business model, but also that requires less resources, because every truck, at least for now, requires a driver. So if you know what are the most efficient routes in the neighborhood, what are the neighborhood's road system and pathwalk system, you can actually optimize the delivery of the packages to the specific neighborhood. And that influences the business model a lot. So that's another information that you can get. How you can get that information? Well, the new Amazon Prime trucks, which are, by the way, manufactured by the electric company called Rivian, they actually have a lot of sensors in a car which can analyze the neighborhood when it comes to the road system, when it comes to the weather, when it comes to the delivery time, how much packages are on the truck in the specific time window. So using all of that information, actually Amazon is trying to optimize the cost and the number of resources, which are critical element of every business model. So that's another example how data analytics actually transform business models nowadays. Many of the world's most successful companies has leveraged artificial intelligence also and data analytics together with it to transform their business models. Apple, for example, used AI-powered analytics to provide personalized recommendations to customers based on their past purchases. This is pretty straightforward. The more you serve your customers and the more data you analyze, then you can actually suggest with a higher probability of purchase the next product. And that's what Apple did. And that allowed them to increase customer satisfaction and build loyalty. Amazon also using that. But let me actually explain a different example of the more medium-sized company, because Apple and Amazon are the huge companies and they can actually invest tons of money. But what about medium-sized companies that are either installing air conditioning or are actually changing tires in your car? That's a very interesting question. How those people can actually leverage databases of customers and information coming from that to actually change their loyalty? That's a very interesting question. And let me give you an example of the company called DriveCentric. DriveCentric is 100 people company that actually built a customer relationship management software for automotive industry. By implying artificial intelligence in that, the salespeople that are actually working for dealership can optimize the next message that will be sent to customers. The next message will consist only those information that are important for the customers, not everything else. So if you use GPT engines for that, you can actually send shorter messages that require less attention of the customers with more precise information. That will actually improve the customer part of your business model, but that also will improve the revenue. Because the more tailored messages, the higher conversion rate. If the higher conversion rate is in a place, that means the higher revenue. So those examples actually can help us to understand how data analytics can drive more business or bring more efficiencies to the businesses in nowadays. So let me quickly draw the conclusion here. Data analytics has transformed the way businesses operate. By leveraging artificial intelligence algorithms, companies can create innovative business models that allow them to better understand their customers and optimize their products or services accordingly. Companies like Apple, Amazon, Uber, Fishbrain, but also your local dealership or the company that changed tires like AutoNation or everything like that can actually leverage the same mechanism. As artificial intelligence continues to evolve, more businesses will have the opportunity to use it to stay ahead of the competition and create innovative business models that meet customer demands. So key takeaways: data analytics, which by the way is gathering data, improving data, experimenting with data and predicting with data, can actually help you influence the business model in many different places. And in these three examples I mentioned, you can actually understand how that works. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye bye.